Hey everybody, this is Sam with Wrestling Overtime with your Raves and Rants review for WWE Raw that happened on March the 9th, 2020 in Washington, D.C. I'm going to be honest with you. This is going to be a lot of rants because man, oh man, some of these matches and some of these promos, I'm just flat out tired of. They don't have storylines. They aren't, I feel like we're not progressing. We're not going anywhere. I feel like it doesn't have a lot of direction. And so you are going to hear some raves. You're going to hear me marking out. But you're going to hear some rants, and so I just want to prepare you for that. However, to start the show off, I can't start off ranting. I mean, Becky's music hit, and you guys know that I have become here, I don't know, in the last 2 to 3 weeks, interested in Becky Lynch. Especially since Sunday night's Elimination Chamber, and they show the highlights of that. Now when they're showing the highlights, I'm like, so why did people pay to watch that again? Because, you guys heard my raves and rants on Elimination Chamber. But anyway, then they show Shayna's promo after the pay-per-view, after Elimination Chamber to Becky, where she's just basically threatening Becky and showing her cocky confidence about how she's just going to beat down Becky like she did everyone there. And it's almost like Shayna has went back to her snap, nap, or tap routine, and I like that Shayna. But Becky's response was the old Becky, the one that we saw last year before her match with Ronda. I mean, she was on it. I loved her promo. I thought that it was with the right attitude, looking right in the camera, looking in Shayna's soul. The only thing is, I wish they would have taken more time in really building this up. I mean, we've got like 3 weeks until WrestleMania. Now, maybe the coronavirus will make us have to build this one a little longer. But I feel like the crowd, a lot of the wrestling community doesn't really know Shayna. I feel like she's been in NXT. She wasn't a megastar like Ronda Rousey was in UFC or MMA circles. So I feel like the public doesn't truly know her and know her character that well. So I wish they would have brought her in at Royal Rumble and really let them get to know her. But they kind of did that with Rhea Ripley. And I feel like the crowd is getting into Rhea Ripley because of it. But I guess WWE didn't want to do that with 2 NXT superstars. Or maybe the rumors that Vince doesn't particularly care for Shayna are true. I don't know. Shayna doesn't really fit his dream girl. She's not blonde-haired and blue-eyed. She's not all sexy and can get all dolled up for him. Shayna is who she is. But I really wish that the wrestling community could have gotten to know her before this WrestleMania match, because I think they would have enjoyed this match a lot better. I see too many comments on Twitter, on, Reddit, on Facebook and stuff about people not really knowing Shayna, and then with them introducing her and Jerry Lawler calling her a vampire. I see a lot of people that didn't know her in NXT. They're asking when she's going to bite someone again, and it's just craziness. Not everyone watches NXT, and I'm sorry, WWE needs to realize that. They are watching NXT now that it's on USA, but before they didn't. This could be an awesome, good, long feud lasting to SummerSlam, where they have, the rubber match culminating at SummerSlam. Or this could end up being a total disaster if WWE creative just doesn't get it right. I'm looking forward to this, so I'm excited. I don't know if you can tell, but I am excited about this. However, one thing I'm not excited is the match. We started off the very first match being Rey Mysterio versus Angel Garza with Zelina Vega, and man, oh man, I've seen this. I'm tired of it. My very first thought was, why on earth weren't these two in Humberto and Andrade's corner at the Elimination Chamber? Why were they not there? And then my second thought was, why was Humberto not in Rey Mysterio's corner on Raw? And why was Andrade not in Garza's corner? They're both managed by Zelina Vega, so why wouldn't Andrade be out there in Garza's corner? And then I thought, oh, WWE is going to be predictable, and they are going to have them run out in the middle of this match. This ended up not being a bad match at all. It just seems like we've seen it over and over and over. And as I've said on past episodes, I am tired of having Latino on Latino. It seems like WWE thinks that if they give 10 or 15 minutes to like a Latino segment, then they're done with them the rest of the night. You don't see them again. You don't hear about them again. The announcers don't talk to them. They don't bring them up. They don't do anything. And so let's just drop this. Let's drop this whole thing between these four and actually build something interesting around the United States belt. You can leave Andrade versus Mysterio. That's cool. But add some other people and send Garza and Humberto to fight someone else. Let's spread this wealth around. Because I don't even care about the rumor that has been going on for 6 months to a year now about the hair versus match anymore. Between Andrade and Mysterio for WrestleMania. They're saying that that's how they're going to get Rey Mysterio to retire. They're going to have Andrade put up his hair versus Rey Mysterio putting up his mask match at WrestleMania. Well, number one, they haven't announced it. Number two, God knows they haven't really built it other than having matches with different combinations, and I've seen it. That's not how I want Mysterio to retire. And besides that, he's not retiring. He's just leaving you, WWE. Believe me, he's not done wrestling. He's gonna go elsewhere. But anyway, back to the match. Rey hits the 619 for the win. Yay. Then we go to Kevin Owens They show him earlier when he actually arrived to the arena, and as he was walking in, he was met by AOP, Murphy, and Seth Rollins eating popcorn. Well, at least they carry. I'm excited that WWE Creative or Seth remembered at Elimination Chamber Kevin Owens eating popcorn and causing a distraction. So they carried that through with Seth, eating his popcorn. So Kevin Owens just picks up his luggage that he's wheeling and throws it at AOP after Seth offers him popcorn. Seth says, "You want some?" And Kevin Owens, it's like he snaps and loses his mind and throws his luggage at AOP. So they proceed basically to beat him down as Seth just kind of sits there and eats popcorn. Okay. Not a bad vignette for WWE standards at all. Hope they follow through with this throughout the show. Maybe showing Kevin getting medical treatment. Maybe showing something. I don't know. But then they start promoting, of course, they're going to have Stone Cold Steve Austin March 16th. 3/16 on Monday Night Raw. And so they want to make sure that we all know about that. So then they showed a vignette of Rhea Ripley. She actually went to Raymond James Stadium in Tampa. That's about an hour and a half drive from Orlando, where I'm sure she makes her base since she's in NXT at the Performance Center. They show her looking around, being wide-eyed and talking about how many people are going to get to see her go up against Charlotte. I actually like this. It wasn't too long. It showed the stadium. It showed her looking around, setting different places, going on the pirate ship. I kind of enjoyed this. I wish WWE would do more short vignettes or promos or whatever you want to call them, video packages, kind of like this a little more often, showing us the different sides and adding another layer to different matches. Of course, Charlotte's music hits right after they show this video package. So, Charlotte calls Rhea Ripley the shiny new toy. That caught my attention because we all know how close Charlotte is to Vince McMahon. Did Vince McMahon write those words for her to say, and they're really to Triple H? Because it almost seems like every time Hunter gets excited about someone down in NXT, Vince doesn't care to bring them up and just bury them. I mean, look at Ricochet. So I wonder, with Charlotte using the words a new shiny toy, if that was really Vince's words to Triple H. Did he allow Triple H just to bring his shiny new toys of Shayna Baszler and Rhea Ripley up to WrestleMania just to have them destroyed by Charlotte and Becky and just ruin them in WWE with the crowd forever? But then Rhea Ripley comes out, and Charlotte said, no, you got your 2 minutes of talking with your little video package. Now you are excused. Love this Charlotte. I love the cocky, confident Charlotte that is entitled and feels like she runs not only Raw, but she just runs WWE. Loved it. But you know what I also loved? Rhea Ripley hauled off and clocked her. I mean, clocked her. And it was a shoot hit. It was not a miss. It was not a work hit. She just hauled off and hit her, and Rhea Ripley walked out smiling. So I think whoever thought that up was excellent. But, you know, it seems like every time I get a Raven, I get a marking out. WWE has to bring me down, usually with a match. And so our next match is Bobby Lashley versus Zack Ryder. And of course, he's got to have Kurt Hawkins with him. Man, oh man, like I said, when you guys heard the results show that I did, the quick and easy results show, I think it was 9 minutes long. I just want to know why. That's the only thing I want to know. Why, or maybe even who thought this up? Who thought this was a good match? Who put this on my TV? Why is Bobby Lashley having a match against Zack Ryder? Who dug Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins up? And why are they messing with Bobby Lashley? The only reason right now to have Bobby Lashley around or on my TV is Lana. And Lana's not here. Lana's off filming a movie. She's not backstage. She is gone. And they are looking at releasing her husband, Rusev, if he doesn't re-sign his contract. Lana's gone, so Lashley should be gone. But anyway, Ryder and Hawkins is just a bunch of jobbers. They're out there to get beat. So Lashley won by doing the spine buster, and then he did his Dominator for the pin. Then we see Aleister Black. And of course, Aleister is back in his black dark room waiting. I guess he's waiting for someone to come get him. Well, we didn't have to wait long. That was good. Because Seth Rollins knocks on his door. And I'm thinking, no way. Are we going to get Aleister Black versus Seth Rollins? Are they going to build this program quickly? Because I'm ready to get excited. But it's Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy, because we all know Seth can't go anywhere alone. Seth asks Aleister Black to consider joining them. And he gives Aleister Black one of his Messiah t-shirts. And I'm thinking, really, Seth? You gave him one of those colorful shirts. You couldn't even give him your all-black Seth effing Rollins shirts. That's what you should have gave him, because we all know Aleister is not going to wear your little rainbow Messiah shirt. It's not happening. So Seth says, by the way, you're either with me or you're against me. So, Aleister, being Aleister, responds, well, those are fighting words. And you just knocked on the right door, because I accept. Well, yay! I am marking out. We are getting Aleister Black versus Seth Rollins. The only thing I don't know is, are we getting it tonight, or are we getting it later? Are they going to build this? What are we going to do? So we go to a match, and it's Drew McIntyre versus Eric Rowan carrying his cage. And from previous episodes, you guys know how I feel about Eric Rowan's and his cage. I wish he would put his cage on his head and go away. I can't stand him. So I know that they're building Drew McIntyre up to be a monster. So this is pretty predictable. Drew McIntyre is going to kick Rowan's head off his shoulders. I love that McIntyre basically just launched Rowan over the ropes. And then he got steps and he smashed Eric Rowan's cage. I loved it. We're done with the cage. It is almost like somebody told Vince or told someone in WWE Creative, hey, when you guys got the remote control fake spider out, the crowd lost any interest they might have had. They didn't have much in the cage anyway, but when you gave us the spider, we definitely were like, no, we're done. So for them to have McIntyre tear that up by smashing it with the steps, just absolutely loved it. Of course, Rowan loses his mind, because I would lose my mind too. He lost his gimmick, which means also, guess what? He lost his TV time. I'd be going wild anyway, I would lose my mind too. So we get McIntyre claymoring him for the win and kicking his head off his shoulders. Yeah, not a problem. Then we get the Kabuki Warriors versus Natty and Liv Morgan. Warriors come down, and my first thought is, what on earth do they have Asuka and Kairi Sane doing? They are screeching, and I do mean screeching, in Japanese. They're yelling all kinds of garbage in Japanese. I'm going to make the assumption they're yelling about Shayna Baszler. I don't know. For all I know, they're yelling about their outfits. Or that Kairi Sane wants them to buy her a new umbrella. I have absolutely no idea. So if anyone from WWE is listening to this podcast, can you please get us a translator? Because I think it would make it so much more interesting that while they're screeching, if I could know what they're saying, it would make the story build better. Or if you could put some words as, a caption on the screen telling me what they're saying. The match starts, and I guess because Liv Morgan's in it, Ruby Riott decides to come down and watch. Now, for what? It doesn't make any sense. WWE Creative, here's a hint. You brought Ruby Riott back, and she did a promo and told Liv Morgan that she was the leader and that she was going to make Liv Morgan do what she said. Why didn't you have Ruby Riott come down and yell instructions to her? And say, you better do this, you better do that, you better do this. Because then it would have made sense that Ruby Riott now is trying to be the leader and take Liv Morgan back over. But no, you just kind of have her hang out. Well, then Sarah Logan comes down. Now, all you've done with Sarah Logan since she come back is make her a jobber. You have made Charlotte destroy her. And then in Elimination Chamber, you allowed her to get about 0 offense against Shayna Baszler and had Baszler destroy her. So she comes down, and what happens? Ruby Riott and Sarah Logan start fighting. Well, yippee. I care less. I I really could not care less. Well, what do? They distract Liv Morgan. Yay. WWE, you are following the typical storyline that has been going around wrestling for 30 years. Way to come up with something new. So then you have Liv Morgan, you climb up on the ring post and jump and take Ruby Riott and Sarah Logan out, basically putting Liv Morgan on the floor and out of the match when Natty needs her. Again, typical storyline. I did like it when Natty ended up putting Kairi Sane in the sharpshooter, because I thought, well, Kairi Sane is a jobber. Let Natty win. Let Asuka be yelling in Japanese at somebody or at the camera or whatever, and let Natty win. Build Natty back up. But no, as Natty has her in the sharpshooter, Asuka comes in and she kicks Natty in the head. And the Kabuki Warriors take the win. Awful put together match. Not sure who did it. Not sure what storyline we're doing with the Kabuki Warriors. It's just a big nightmare mess. So then AJ Styles comes out with the OC, of course, and he comes out to put down the Undertaker for interfering with his business. And he does an excellent promo. I cannot give AJ Styles enough props. He brings up how, at WrestleMania, Roman Reigns beat The Undertaker, and how The Undertaker then left his boots, his trench coat, and his hat in the ring. And how when he was halfway up, he put his hand up but never turned around. And he talked about how when you leave your boots in the ring and your ring gear, then it's usually a sign that you retired. AJ then, of course, has to bring up Brock defeating The Undertaker's streak and says that he probably should have retired then. But then AJ has to hit The Undertaker with a low blow by saying, you did that. You put your boots and your gimmick in the ring and walked away, but you couldn't stay away. You had to come back for the money. Because he came back to Saudi Arabia, and we all know that you get paid when you go to Saudi Arabia. So he challenges him at WrestleMania and says, he is going to be the one to totally retire The Undertaker. And then he takes another low blow. He talks about how Michelle McCool is The Undertaker's wife, for anyone who didn't know, and how she plays him like a fiddle, and how she is a conniving person that is all about money, and how he's sure that Michelle made The Undertaker come back so she could have more money. Well, that part of it, I wonder if that's the WWE poking a finger at Michelle McCool, because earlier, or I should say last week, Michelle McCool put out a Twitter when WWE rated their women, and they left off Michelle McCool, and Michelle McCool called them out on it, and The Undertaker called them out on it. And all of a sudden, to make The Undertaker happy, WWE talks about how there was a mistake made, and she was accidentally left off, and they add her to the list. So I wonder if this is WWE's kind of way of poking, because, they like doing stuff like that. AJ continues and says, the Undertaker has lost all of his pride and all of his mystique because now he's nothing but a broken old man. And can I tell you, it was unbelievable. It was the old AJ Styles, the one you saw in TNA, the one you saw in the beginning of his WWE career. The OC kept their mouth shut and acted like bodyguards and just let AJ be AJ. And it was unbelievable. Now, as I reported in News and Updates right after this Raw, however, I am disappointed in WWE because The Undertaker was backstage. He was actually at this Raw, and he was dressed and ready. And at one point, WWE was going to have him come out like he came out at the Elimination Chamber. I don't know why they didn't do that. Because now, when I hear AJ's promo and I'm talking about it, is The Undertaker a broken old man because he didn't come out? Well, no, WWE didn't let him come out. But I can't imagine the character Undertaker wouldn't have appeared, wouldn't have came out of hell, and wouldn't have responded to this. Or have a vignette, or have Undertaker magically pop up on the video screen from hell in a dark room somewhere in the arena with fire and respond to this, because this would have made your night. But WWE, AJ is AJ and he does his job, and WWE, you dropped the ball, but not by not allowing Undertaker to respond. Now they are giving us on Stone Cold Steve Austin 316 next Monday Night Raw. They're going to give us AJ and the Undertaker's contract signing. But is it going to take a back seat to Stone Cold? Are they going to let the Undertaker respond to AJ? Is something exciting going to happen? Or is it next Monday night going to be all about Stone Cold and we are left to wonder about the Undertaker? Then we see Charlie try to interview Randy Orton, who is backstage pacing around and not doing anything. Charlie wants his thoughts on Edge showing up tonight. Well, of course, we get no answer from Randy. And I'm thinking, great, that's how we need to play that. Great segment, But we immediately go to the 24 championship match. Well, I'm sorry, I kind of have to go off on a rant on this. This defeats the purpose of having a 24/7 championship. The 24/7 championship, as they explain, is about defending the championship 24/7. Whether it be in a hallway, a hotel room, an airplane, an airport, in a rental car, parking lot, at the concession stand, at a meet and greet with fans, at a school when you're reading to the kids, whatever. The 24/7 championship is about defending it anywhere and everywhere. It is not about having 24/7 championship matches every week. This is what is killing, well, let me back up. This is one of the things that kills this belt. WWE, you're not even living up to the name of the belt, the 24/7 part. Where is R-Truth? He got it. And I can't help but think that he told WWE, hello, I'm not having championship matches because that doesn't make any sense. They need to come to me on New Year's Eve while I'm wanting to listen to Mariah Carey and pin me. R-Truth was the best thing for this title. But they gave it to Riddick Moss, and he is taking on Cedric Alexander. It is an awful match. I mean, awful match. Moss ends up tackling Alexander and then hits a neck breaker for the win. Where's Mojo Rawley? I just asked where's R-Truth, but where's Mojo Rawley? Mojo Rawley supposedly played football with this Riddick Moss. Riddick Moss screwed him out of the 24/7 title. Where is Mojo Rawley? WWE wants to sign Mojo Rawley's real-life friend, Rob Gronkowski. Rumor is Gronk has already signed. Where's Mojo Rawley? You're driving me crazy. I swear my 2.5-year-old niece, who is just now learning to speak in 4 and 5 sentences at a time, could write a better story than this. It's ridiculous. Anyway, MVP comes out. Why are we not done with MVP? Who is he? He wasn't a big deal when he was on WWE last time. Why did we sign him to a new contract? Why is he on my TV? He starts yakking, and I'm struggling to pay attention, and I hear the word stable. And I'm like, stable? What? And so I back it up, and my DVR says MVP wants to build a stable, and he wants to start with Edge in his stable. Who do you think you are, MVP? Do you think you're Seth Rollins? Do you think you are Chris Jericho? You're not. And why would you think that Edge, a superstar, would be in your stable and take direction, guidance, or orders from you? Again, WWE making no sense. So we have MVP tell us that Edge should be in his stable because he needs to focus. He needs to listen to MVP. And thank God, Edge's music hits. And he comes down like a bat out of hell with a crazed look on his face and grabs the mic from MVP. And basically, just starts yelling for Randy Orton to come out and come out now. Now, MVP does not take a hint, which again shows how stupid he is. Number one, he's stupid for coming back. Number two, he's stupid for thinking he needs a stable and that he's worth having a stable. Number three, he makes the mistake of thinking Edge should be in his stable. But the fourth mistake that he really makes is that he even stayed in the ring. MVP, catch a clue. Look at crazy Edge hollering for Randy Orton to come out, and you need to leave the ring. But no, MVP starts questioning Edge. So Edge just hauls off and spears him. Well, yeah, MVP, go away. I hope when Edge speared you, he broke every rib you have, and you are now gone forever, but at least a couple months to allow your broken ribs to heal. But anyway, Randy Orton decides to show up. And of course, they have to get in a brawl, and Edge RKO's Randy Orton. And then he gets chairs. And I am marking out because he is going to do to Randy what Randy did to him. And I am loving it. Edge gets 2 chairs and Randy leaves. He gets out of the ring. Well, here's the thing. MVP. After Edge speared you, you had your 5th mistake. You still didn't get out of there. So, since Randy Orton was smart enough to leave the ring, Edge sees you being an idiot, and he picks MVP up and chokes him out, and then RKO's MVP while Randy is sitting there watching. And not only does he do a regular RKO, no, he RKO's him on the chair that he brought in, and then puts him on the chair exactly like Randy Orton put Edge on the chair, and hauls off with the other chair and hits MVP as Randy Orton watches. Because Edge has lost his mind, and I love it. Well, Randy Orton, being Randy Orton, decides, I'm kind of bored. And he leaves. Because he's smart. Edge, again, snaps and just basically runs up the ramp. And he is looking around for Randy Orton, and they tell him, Randy left the arena. And of course, Edge is not happy. And I'm loving this. This is the wrestling I love. This is the storytelling I love. And when these two have their match, I'm gonna love it. Because it's gonna be a build, and I'm gonna not be able to stand it. I'm gonna want this match. These two aren't touching. They're not having 50 matches before WrestleMania. They're not having combination tag team matches and 6-man matches and 8-man matches and getting other people involved. It's Randy versus Edge, and they have a story to tell, and they're gonna tell it. And this is what WWE is about. This is what wrestling's about. WWE, this is what we want. So we come back and we have Seth Rollins with Buddy Murphy versus Aleister Black. We are getting this match tonight. And I'm still pumped up from the whole Randy Orton Edge situation, and I think this is awesome. Because Seth Rollins is portraying himself as the Messiah. Basically a god. If you know anything about Aleister Black, or you've looked at his tattoos, or you know he is from the Netherlands and what his background is. Aleister Black is totally against that. He has satanic and Illuminati symbols tattooed on his body. He is basically the Dark Prince and wants to be able to portray that. He wants that to be his character. That's why his entrance is his entrance of coming up out of the ground with candles lit in the dark. WWE could have made this an awesome story. They've been building up Aleister Black. Having him go against Seth Rollins would have been unbelievable. They should have let Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens finish their program and then had Seth Rollins and Aleister Black be the program that starts after WrestleMania to SummerSlam. Because the story they could have told would have captivated the audience, would have really been a big story that would have gotten the wrestling community excited and probably got them to tune in on Raw instead of Raw losing their audience. This turns out to be a good match because Seth Rollins and Aleister Black are great wrestlers and they can put together good matches. Of course, Buddy Murphy interferes, so Aleister Black wins by disqualification. And then, of course, Buddy Murphy and Seth Rollins basically have to beat him up. And as he's getting ready to possibly make a comeback, AOP come down to help them beat him up. Well, what that leads to is the Street Profits and the Viking Raiders come out to even up score, or even up the odds, even up the numbers, whatever you want to use. The Street Profits and the Viking Raiders don't come out to help Aleister Black. They come out to get their hands on AOP, Seth Rollins, and Buddy Murphy. So somehow, we end up with an 8-man tag. Because we all know WWE can't pass up any chance of an 8-man tag. So we get the Street Profits and the Viking Raiders versus Seth Rollins, who's already had a match, and Buddy Murphy and AOP. At no point do they explain, where is Aleister Black? Where did he go? It is like the ring sucked him up. They didn't show him leaving. They show him rolling out of the ring and walking up the ramp. They didn't show medics having to attend to him. His character, I don't think he would allow medics to attend to him. They didn't show him jumping the barricade and walking up through the crowd. The announcers didn't touch it. The Viking Raiders and the Street Profits are also everything Aleister Black is against. He wouldn't want them to come to his rescue. They are not who he hangs out with. So you could have said, the announcers could have said, hey, Aleister Black can't stand them, knows he can't go 4 against 1, and went to his dark room to think about how he's going to get Seth Rollins back. I don't know. Make something up. WWE creative. That's why you have a job. You're supposed to get creative and come up with something. But no, we have an 8-man tag match for the sake of having an 8-man tag match, which Seth Rollins just ends up curb stomping forward for the win, basically to get it over with. Kevin Owens then comes out and stuns everyone, except for Seth Rollins. But he stuns everyone, and he's in the ring. Seth Rollins ends up sneaking behind him and curb stomps him, and then curb stomps him again. And because we've still got time left on Raw because they didn't time it right, he kind of looks around, doesn't really know what to do. I'm assuming someone flashes him a signal, so he curb stomps him again. And then proceeds to stare at him as they go off the air. WWE, no wonder you are losing people. It is no wonder people are leaving you in droves. You are down 23% since the start of the year. It is awful. You guys have to get better. You have to. It is no wonder Cody watches this and says, yeah, eventually AEW will take on Monday Night Raw. And when we do, we'll beat them. Yeah, I don't blame them. They are eventually going to take on Monday Night Raw. And if WWE doesn't get their act together, not only will they lose, they will lose badly. Because this is garbage. You had great promo with Becky. You have great segment with Rhea Ripley and Charlotte. You give AJ Styles great promo. You have a great storyline going on with Randy Orton and Edge. Probably the best thing going on right now on Raw. You have a great character now in Seth Rollins being the Monday Night Messiah. You have the workings and buildings of a show. Do you have the workings and buildings of a 3-hour show? No. But having those high points shows me you can do it, and that there's someone backstage thinking this up. And if it is the wrestlers themselves, if Becky Lynch is thinking these promos up with Shayna Baszler, or Shayna Baszler is, if Charlotte is coming up with these segments, if AJ Styles and The Undertaker are coming up with their segments, if Randy Orton and Edge are coming up with their segments, let them book the rest of the show, because your creative department sucks. And if it's Paul Heyman, which is what is the rumor, then number one, get your checkbook out and write the man a bigger check. Number two, turn the whole daggone show over to him and let him create some characters and create some storylines that we actually care about. I want 3 or 4 great wrestling shows on my TV. And I'm not getting it, so I'm not happy. WWE, you gotta fix it. Guys, if you have any questions, comments, problems, protests, if you agree with me, if you don't agree with me, hit me up on Wrestling Overtime on Twitter, on our Facebook page. Write me, wrestlingovertime@gmail.com. Hit me up. Leave a review on Podchaser. I get those reviews. I can respond to those reviews. We are on YouTube. under my name. I have put the link up for my YouTube site on Twitter and my Facebook page on Wrestling Overtime. Leave me a review or a comment on YouTube. Let me know if I'm totally off base. Or if I am on base. Man, oh man, we need to band together and let WWE know they gotta get better. We deserve better. But anyway, I will be back soon. Either with news and updates, or another Raves reviews and rants, or even a quick and easy, down and dirty, nitty gritty results show. But I'll talk to you soon.